morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
My name's James, aka FBL Jug.
I hope you had a far better week than I did, mate.
Not too bad, actually. Sad to hear you didn't have a good one.
Honestly, it was an absolute shitter in my 80. We'll come on to why, but I was so frustrated, and I've seen a bit of a rank drop. But as always, I think we'll do the game by game, tier by tier. We'll discuss assets that we don't necessarily discuss on FPL. And then we'll jump into the questions because we have quite a lot this week and there's some pretty good ones. So let's just get stuck in, eh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, first things first, mate. Leicester 0, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, very surprised in this one to see Arsenal come out on top. Mainly thanks to Aaron Ramsdale, who
Yeah,
made excellent saves.
stunning.
8 saves in the game, so obviously tier 2 save points, a clean sheet for any of those that had him as their Arsenal asset.
Yep.
Going to be very happy with that.
Oh, you would, 100%. And obviously, Arsenal are one of those teams that they've got the other single against Everton, don't they? Quite a lot of us are holding, say, Damari Gray for that. But if you're on Ramsdale or White or even Aubameyang, given Everton's form, I'd be very tempted just to hold those Arsenal assets.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I've shipped Ben White out in both my teams. It's a bit frustrating actually to see him get this clean sheet
Yeah, I
either
bet.
side of the two games that I captained. What a fucking joke!
I know that sums up Sky, mate. 100%.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, even the Leicester centre backs, I wouldn't be on them, but they comfortably hit passing to
They did,
89
yeah.
and 85 passes for Evans and Soyuncu. Maybe Evans is a bit lucky to actually be on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%. I genuinely he should have been sent off. He absolutely mauled down Aubameyang, basically bear hugged him to the floor. And given Laporte, which we'll come on to later, got sent off for what I thought was a softer incident. Yeah, Evan should have gone.
Agreed.
Um, I think the other talking point probably for Leicester is the fact that Iheanacho was obviously subbed at half time, and Harvey Barnes was brought on, who although didn't return, he got himself shot tier 2, got 3 on target there. That might be something that we could see moving forward. That Iheanacho and Barnes don't necessarily seem to be playing together at the moment. When Nacho's playing, Barnes isn't, and then obviously one's come on for the other. So Iheanacho may not be the asset that we want him to be. Obviously, we're so used to what he did last season in Sky towards the end, and I sadly don't think we'll see that again.
Yeah, agreed. I think now if you're going to want a nailed kind of Leicester attacker, I think you're just going to have to go with Vardy. Ian Archer doesn't look too appealing if he's going to be getting took off or
No,
rotated with Barnes. And Barnes, credit to him, actually played very well when he came on. Looked very dangerous,
he
was
did, yeah.
whipping countless amounts of balls into the box. So he may even start the next game.
Exactly. I think at the moment the only Leicester asset you're probably wanting to be on is Tielemans, and obviously didn't pick up any returns in this game. Um, so we move on to the game that started my frustration this weekend, and it was Burnley 3, Brentford 1.
Yeah, I know why you're unhappy because you shipped out Rafinha for Embuemo and he didn't even play.
Fucking joke. Honestly, I'm so annoyed with myself because I said, obviously, I think me and you were together. But we were discussing obviously the Rafinha knock, because we'd seen the Saints game together, and we'd heard that it was a pretty bad injury for Rafinha. I then decided, oh well, I get the gains. I'll kind of want Embuemo long term. I'll bring him in. Brought him in for that game following. Did nothing. Obviously got taken off in the 57th minute. Turns out to be a hamstring tweak. Sat on the bench for the entirety of this game, and then yeah, we'll come on to it a bit. But Rafinha really kicked me up the arse, and that fucked me right off. But yeah, Brentford really weren't at the races in this game, were they?
No, not at all, which was a bit surprising. Chris Wood had a good game. Even had he got a goal, shots here.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
Did
very
well.
impressive. But I don't think I'd be on any Burnley players still. Cornet, maybe worth a look.
Potentially, but yeah, I don't think we need to really dwell on much more for these two. So we'll jump into a game in which we've all at least got one asset, and that was Liverpool 2, Brighton 2.
Yeah, they didn't get the clean sheet, but Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk both got tier 2 passing, which is good to see. I'll have one in one team, one in the other. Bit of a surprise from Brighton.
Yeah,
Made a very good game of it. Great goal from Mbeumo.
stunning
Alana
finish.
actually made 5 tackles. I think he made a lot of tackles the previous game as well, um, and got an assist. So can't really argue with that. In terms of returns, Henderson getting passing tier and a goal.
Yeah,
Um, Actually been okay returns rise recently. I don't think anyone's going to be on him, but
Did,
worth to
yeah. Didn't
worth
he
looking at.
pick up like 107 passes against Man United?
Yeah, I think it was even more than that. It was like 120 or
Yeah,
140 or something
it's mad, isn't it?
ridiculous.
Absolutely
So
crazy.
yeah, he could be there because CDMs in this game are pretty good assets at times.
They are, yeah. Obviously, for those that gambled on Matip at the start of the season, I was one of them in my B team. It seems like he's kind of lost his place at the moment because that's 2 Premier League games in a row now that he's been replaced by Kanate. So yeah, if you were on Matip, it may well have been a good chance to move from him to Rafinha if you didn't own him, given Rafinha was quite clearly the outstanding captaincy on the Sunday, so that would have been a good move. If not, I'd probably hold for this weekend, see if he plays, and then if not, reassess and move on.
Agreed.
The other note for Brighton was obviously Webster is that 7 million asset that we kind of all want if we're going to be on Brighton. The frustration is that once again Duffy played, um, so I'm not sure Webster's particularly nailed there. And for me, if you're going to go on a Brighton defensive asset, I think their fixtures are brilliant for at least the next 6 or 7 weeks defensively. Dunk's probably the one you're going to go on, isn't it?
Yeah, for certainty of selection, and we know what he can do in terms of passes and even threats from corners. I think Dunk is the safer bet.
Yeah, it's just a shame he's a little bit more expensive. He's what 1.2 million difference.
Yeah, I mean you get what you pay for, I guess.
You do, you definitely do. Right, jumping on to what was probably the shock of the weekend. It was Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2.
Yeah, another shock in this one. Palace exceptional performance going forward. Conor Gallagher absolutely running the show.
Yeah,
Came away with 18 points thanks to tackle tier, shot tier, goal, and assist. I think he even got man of the match
he
as
did. Yeah,
well.
he's the
Um,
reason why he is the thumbnail for our YouTube show this year.
yeah, sensational performance, and obviously the red card did contribute to that a little bit. Maybe a little. I mean, he was last man, so
Yeah, it
I
was.
guess that's a fair decision.
It was a sending off, in my opinion. The interesting fact is obviously Diaz, for instance, still managed to pick up tackle tier 2 and passing tier 2, despite obviously being down to 10 men and losing to Palace. So that's interesting. Obviously, for those that are on him, yeah, he's quite a bit more expensive than say Cancelo, but yeah, picked up the tiers here. Whereas obviously Cancelo was subbed off early in the 78th minute when they were chasing the game. Was unlucky. He was 5 passes away from a passing tier. Obviously, didn't get the clean sheet this time round. So I think it's a 2 pointer. Even KDB, taken off on the 59th minute for John Stones, which was an interesting one. And then yeah, just no one else particularly other than Rodri, who is very consistent, I think, in his tier returns. There's a question about Man City midfielders that we'll come on to in the at the end there, but I think Rodri might be the answer. Right, jumping onto a game in which we expected the result and we got it. It's just frustrating in terms of some benchings again. It was Newcastle 0, Chelsea 3.
Yeah, very strong performance from Chelsea. I just don't know how I've managed to not have a Chelsea defender in both my Sky teams. I had Christensen in one a couple of weeks ago, but got annoyed with him not featuring. Obviously, he's turned up today and got 108
He
passes
has,
and
yeah.
a clean sheet. But the one to watch, so to speak, is Rhys James. I mean, 2 goals.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
phenomenal.
His finish were exceptional, and it's the finishes of a striker that is in form, let alone a fullback.
Yeah, an amazing option to have. I think him and Chilwell now are the kind of go-to in terms of potential returns.
Yeah,
I mean, James got 62 passes to Chilwell's 49. I don't know if maybe James is more likely to pick up tackle and passing tier. But obviously, if you're looking for dead certs on the passing tier, then
Oh, you're going to go centre
Rudiger,
back.
Rudiger,
Yeah,
yeah, Rudiger's the man, really.
definitely.
Very strong performance from Chelsea. So strong, Newcastle midfielders didn't even get their dream amount of tackles. The
I know.
closest was paid him with three. In fairness, he got three tackles and got took off in the 67th minute.
Could
So
have hit that
could have
too.
been.
Could have, yeah. It's interesting though because we're recording at the time in which Chelsea have kicked off against Malmo in the Champions League. Um, the centre backs, all three, Rudiger, Silva, and Christensen, start again. So that's one to keep an eye on. I don't think Silva plays this weekend. Surely, I don't think he's ever played three in a row in the space of a week um, under Tuchel, and he has commented before about his minutes and having to be managed. I'd be very surprised if he's not taken off early in the Malmo game. Whether we see, say, Chalobah come in, obviously for his height and his strength against Burnley. One thing to note though is the fact that Aspilicueta and Alonso have started as wing backs against Malmo, which means that James and Chilwell have both got rests. That worries me as an Aspilicueta owner who has already frustrated me 2 weeks in a row. Fully expecting it to be a frustration again this weekend, and I have a decision to make whether I sack off the fixture game and then just move him on potentially to Dunk, because the last thing I want to see at that 3 o'clock team sheet come in and Aspilicueta is once again on the bench. So I'd be hoping to see if we got any early team news, but frustratingly, it's not the early kickoff. So I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to make a move on that one.
Yeah, it's just annoying because I hate making moves without fixture games. But I think in the long term, this might be the best solution, given Aspie seems to be almost second choice, even though he's the captain when he plays. It's very strange. Right, jumping onto a game that no doubt had us both cheering come the end. It was Watford 0, Southampton 1.
Yeah, good result for Saints. Not too much to speak about in terms of tier returns for this game.
No.
Bednarak in passing tier. Salisi one pass off, but he did get tackle tier.
Yeah.
Livramento, who I own in both teams, one tackle away from tackle tier, but obviously got the clean sheet, which is more than enough for me at that price. I think he's very cheap in the game, and obviously I've got him with that Southampton Aston Villa game in mind, and I think a lot of people were
It's on Friday.
sort of looking down that route.
Yeah,
Friday.
I regret not having him for that game. I've got Martinez, which I'm a little bit worried about.
He's been up on a bad patch, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's not looked great, and he's my only captaincy choice, so I'm going to have to. But obviously, I'll be wanting Saints to win, and I'll be there on Friday night. I think I may well be looking to move Martinez on Saturday to the Brentford goalkeeper. Obviously, we forgot to mention that David Raya is now out for 4 to 5 months, and I believe it's Fernandez that's come in. Sky have priced him at 6 million.
Very cheap.
Yeah, absolute bargain. So I may well look to move Martinez to Fernandez, save the money, and it means that I could potentially have the big three in Ronaldo, Kane, and Salah in December, which I think could be profitable. But I'm going to have to check my plan.
Sounds good.
Right, talking about Ronaldo and Kane, we've got that fixture up next, and it was the end of Nuno. It was Spurs 0, Man United 3.
Yeah, very, very happy with this one. I'm one of the people that do still own Ronaldo in both Sky teams.
Yeah, he's done well.
So I was delighted to see him get a goal and an assist in this one. Very strong performance from Man United. Credit to Ollie. I think he got the tactics right. He even got the substitutions right. I was skeptical when I saw Bruno and Ronaldo coming off, but Rashford came on, got a goal. Even Matic got an assist.
Yeah.
Very, very strong from United. On the Spurs side of things, Emerson did quite well considering he got passing tier with 74 passes and 4 tackles.
Yep.
Højbjerg, the ever reliable, I'm speaking about him every week.
You are, yeah.
Still hit passing tier.
You did, yeah.
75 passes.
Not a single shot on target for Spurs. It was atrocious.
No, and that's not what you want to see if you own, say, Son or Kane.
No.
Obviously, the atmosphere turned quite sour when Lucas Moura went off. I don't really understand that substitution.
It's weird. I think
When
that that was
you're trailing,
effectively the end for him. That was it. Done. Like nail in the coffin.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
they turned on him
They
at that
have,
point.
however, signed Antonio Conte, and I think that could make a big difference, particularly given Spurs fixtures now turn for the better. I think from this Everton fixture onwards, their fixtures look great for at least 6 or 7 weeks. And if Conte can make a big difference at Spurs, in a big difference early, Kane, Son, I think Højbjerg defensively, you're looking at Romero will all probably improve. But Kane and Son, I think, would be the two that you'd like to see them pick up Sky returns. And hopefully Conte can get that out of them, because at the moment, as a Kane owner, he's annoying me a little bit.
Yeah, I think they would have been on the chopping block from your teams,
Yeah,
but now the potential is there for them to perform as you'd expect them to. So yeah, it's good time to look at people like Kane and Son again.
agreed. Yeah.
See how they play when Conte sets them up.
Yep, definitely. Right, jumping on to Sunday's games, and first things first, the game that basically put the nail in my sky coffin this week. It was Norwich 1, Leeds 2.
Yeah, beautiful game for me in one of my teams. Rafinha getting a monster 14 points. Obviously, I captained him, so that was 28 points. Goal, man of the match, shot tier. You can't ask for much more.
Shut up.
Very good player.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Sticking the knife in here. But obviously, it was Norwich, so we knew this could happen.
Yeah.
I held him because of that. I was hopeful that he would be okay.
I was
Obviously,
stupid.
it was skeptical news.
Yeah,
He said back soon. You went early to try and sort of gain a fixture or
I
whatever.
did, yeah, and it didn't work. And I went against what I had said at the beginning of the season, that I wasn't going to be rash, and I've stuck by that plan. I've held transfers. I think I've done quite well there at the moment, but yeah, I made that move, and it's a move I regret. Obviously, like, yeah, I don't think Leeds' fixtures are great moving forward, but he was the prime captaincy this weekend, and all in all, it's cost me with the move. It's cost me a transfer and 26 points, and obviously I had to then captain Antonio, which we'll come on to shortly. That did fuck all. So yeah, it's been a big kick in the teeth, and I think I dropped about 350 places. It's frustrating because I'd probably be still up in about the 200s had I captained Rafinha, and it's a lesson learned. It's almost like the Lewis Dunk scenario for me from last year, which kind of stemmed my rise for a while before eventually obviously finishing about, I think it was 42nd. But yeah, there was a period in which Dunk just kicked me week after week.
Yeah, I think it's been a very painful Sunday for you. But
Yeah,
I think out of that game, the only real play you kind of want is Rafinha or maybe a Cooper at the back.
yeah.
Um, yeah, not too much more to add on that one.
No, I don't think so. Let's jump on to the penultimate game of the weekend, and a game in which West Ham ran riot, but Antonio didn't. It was Aston Villa 1, West Ham 4.
Yeah, a very strong performance from West Ham. Frustrating for Antonio owners to come away with absolutely nothing. But one sort of key takeaway from this game, obviously, is the performance of Declan Rice.
Unbelievable.
For the Sky game, he's looking very, very attractive.
Yeah,
A goal, an assist, shot tier, passing tier, tackle tier. He's got the kind of the whole caboodle, really.
got the man of the match as well.
Man of the match as well. Like can't really ask much more. You don't really expect goals from him, but he has it in his locker.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, very good pick. And Bowen as well, who I mentioned, I think last week, has been
you did, yeah.
performing well. Goal, shot tier. They're looking a very good team. He's got them playing very well.
Oh,
And
he does.
Villa, it seems to be all these teams that have got like captaincy days, like Villa, Everton, that are kind of underwhelming a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, Danny Ings was the big miss in this one. It sounds like we've not had news post what was said before this game, but it sounds like he's got a hamstring tweak. Whether he makes
Yeah,
Friday, I'm not sure. So
big blow for those that are holding him for that captaincy.
definitely, and obviously Tyrone Mings was a substitute in this one. He was brought on in the 52nd minute, but yeah, I just think it's tricky for Villa, and obviously when they're in poor form, Saints are kind of up in theirs, and I think it'll be a good game for us. Hopefully on Friday. Now, no doubt I'm going to go there and we'll watch a comfortable Aston Villa win. Now that I've said that, but yeah, if I had both Villa and Saints assets in my Sky team, I'd probably captain the Southampton player.
So would I.
Yeah, and I just want to credit Craig from the Man On Pod because I had a conversation with him before the season even started, and he was very high on Declan Rice. I know he's still got him, so yeah, Craig obviously benefited from the 20-point return there for Rice, and fair play because he is one hell of a Sky asset this season.
Great shout.
Right, moving on then to the final game of the weekend, and obviously it was a single game day for Wolves and Everton, and it ended up being a win for Wolves. It was Wolves 2, Everton 1.
Yeah, I found this game hard to call. I
Yeah,
think my teams were split. I had one team with two Wolves players, one team with an Everton player in the form of Townsend, and it was Wolves that came out on top.
yep,
Um,
played very well.
Decent win, played very well in the first half. Great performance. I think Everton has something apparently lost 65 out of 70 games where they've been 2-0 down at half time.
Oh wow, that's a stat.
Insane. Yeah. So very strong performance from Wolves. Those on Sarr obviously got saved to you. Size just about hitting tier 2
Indeed,
passing.
yes, 70 there.
Yeah, those on Huang, unlucky to have a goal ruled out, but he hit tackle tier.
Yep, yeah, it was frustrating for Sky, for Everton players particularly, like Damari Gray for instance. Right, he's played through by a flick on from the Wolves back pass, 1-on-1 with the keeper, completely fucking scuffs it wide. Like, what you doing, mate? You're my captain. Like, that was atrocious. And then it was almost like he was trying to make up for that throughout the rest of the game and kept snatching at chances. Obviously, you got Townsend there. Didn't he have his tackle tier removed?
Had his tackle tier removed, which I'm not happy about. He was my captain in one
Yeah,
team, 8 points down to 4, so
that's
that was a bit.
harsh. And obviously,
Yeah,
anybody that's still on Pickford, you didn't pick up a return there. He just got the 2 saves. It wasn't great all round for Everton, and there's going to need to be some serious uplift in their form before that Arsenal game. Otherwise, I think those of us that have been holding the likes of Gray up for that fixture are potentially going to suffer.
agreed.
Right, shall we jump on to our teams then, mate, before we get onto all these questions?
Yeah, let's do it. So my team won, got 73 points. It's now at 3.3k. Gallagher on 18, Ronaldo on 13, Salah on 10, Livramento on 7. The rest of the team sort of did okay. So reasonably happy with that team. Really happy with this team. It got 107
Oh,
points.
nice.
Very happy. 8 points from Sarr, 4 from Alexander-Arnold, 5 from Size, 7 from Diaz, 7 from Livramento, 18 from Gallagher, 28 from Rafinha, 13 from Ronaldo, 10 for Salah, 5 from Højbjerg. The only player that got less than 4 points was Antonio, who got 2. So
Nice.
very, very happy with that. And that team is now up to 2.2k.
Good lad.
And it's still got 35 transfers. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one will do well.
I
And
think
that's the cash league one.
there you go. I think you're sitting well. Sitting well. I don't really want to talk about Team One. I got 58 points.
Woo!
Yeah, fucking honestly. Obviously, that Rafinha captaincy cost me, and I was playing with 9 players because both Aspie and Mbuemo didn't show up. So yeah, it was a 9-man team. Obviously, Rudiger was in there and Gallagher, Salah. Other than that, there was no real returns. Antonio Kane did fuck all. Demarai Gray, nothing. It was frustrating. So I've got to have a think about some moves on that team. Obviously, it's the team that I'm pushing on. I'm still 675th, but I don't want to let it slide any further. So I've got some decisions to make. In my B team, that's been slowly on the rise. Got 90 points this week, up to 2.5k. Again, that's got Aspie and Sarr, which I think is becoming maybe a little bit of a problem. But other than that, it's got Rafinha, for instance, Watkins, Salah. So yeah, it was kind of the team that I held on and performed pretty well this week. So hopefully I can push that one on a little bit more. So that's on 32 transfers. So it's used a couple more, but yeah, I think for the right reasons. Let's quickly jump on then to these questions, mate, because we have quite a few. First things first, Has Declan Rice been overlooked? He has hit tiers of some sorts in his last 3 games. Yes, I'm aware that he has Liverpool next, but as I have him, surely he is a hold. And then this is from Steve Bird, who then obviously ends saying, "See, I actually asked a serious question. Happens sometimes."
Well, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, he's definitely holding.
Yeah,
He's
agreed.
looking very good. Monster return in that game as well.
Yeah, for sure. Second question, and then from FF Dempsey. Having used far too many transfers, are there any merits to holding James Ward-Prowse for the longer term? He hasn't played to his value yet, but his good run started later in the season last year, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I mean, he's always got that potential to score from set pieces, pens, free kicks. Obviously, tiers as well in the heart of midfield, and he plays pretty much every game if he's fit. So, yeah, potentially hold. Um, yeah, potentially hold him.
I think I'd agree. Yep. Question then in from Manon Martin, so obviously one of our friends over at the Manon Pod. So he is planning to get rid of Matty Cash after Friday's game. What would be your play with 8.2 million budget? Now at the moment he's got 4 at the back, so he can probably go anywhere. For me, I think there's only one player I'd want to go to, and that would be Lewis Dunk. Exactly 8.2 million. I think Brighton's fixtures are there for the taking. Obviously, Dunk is very much key to that Brighton defence, and very often, obviously, didn't at the weekend, but most of the time, comfortably picks up at least passing tier 2. And I can see some clean sheets in there. So, because you've told me that you've got 8.2, if you're happy having nothing in the bank moving forward, and obviously, I can see you've got Kane, Antonio Salah, Rodri, so you've got some money there. And Trent, obviously, you could potentially downgrade him at some point. Are you ever going to captain Trent over Salah, for instance? No. So there is scope to move the funds. I think for this weekend, Lewis Dunk.
I'd maybe look at a Brentford defender. They've got quite good fixtures. I think you could potentially get someone there, like Pontus Janssen or
Yep.
someone else. I mean, they've been returning at the other end of the pitch as well,
Yeah.
so could be one to look at.
Agreed. Yeah. I think it all depends, Martin, on how you want that budget, and then does it affect any moves moving forward. But yeah, you've got a couple of options there. Questioning from Craig Kemp. Is Ward Prowse a keep beyond Friday? I think we've mentioned that yeah, I think yeah, he probably is. FPL Buddy asks, who are the ones to look for considering the November and December fixtures?
I think Ronaldo you're going to need in terms of Man United's fixtures.
Agreed.
The fixture run is insane, and obviously he performed very well against Spurs the other night. I think he's capable of performing well against any team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the goal he scored against Spurs was sensational. So, I think definitely the United player for that run. Obviously, you need to be mindful of that Brentford Watford captaincy. Maybe think about getting someone in for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think the other one for me is Spurs. I wouldn't have necessarily said it if Nuno was still there, but there
Good
are
point.
days in which I think Spurs are prime captaincy if they're on form, and there's at least 2 or 3 fixtures in there. So you may well look to need both Ronaldo and Kane throughout November and December. I think it's more of a point rather than a question, but I'll mention it anyway from Ottawa Close. It was why are we both silly in selling Rafinha without injury confirmation and then not buying him back when he was the obvious captain? I could see the lineups. To make it worse, I'm still buying Rafinha after that Leicester game too. Yeah, I know how you feel, mate. It fucking sucks, doesn't it? Question then in from 52 Parts Water. Interesting name. Hi both. Am I too cautious? I'm sat 1,618th with 35 transfers.
no, I
No.
think you're playing a good game. I
Agreed.
think you'll need those transfers, be it through injury
Yeah.
or wanting to attack certain captaincies or fixture runs.
Yeah.
I think you're sat nicely.
Yeah, I think you sat very well there. And he does add on a second point of what to do with Matip, which I think we touched on in the pod. Obviously, I'd hold to see if he plays it the weekend. If not, you've probably got time to reassess, and I think you have to. Second question was from Craig Camp. Which Man City mid would you prefer for the next 6 game weeks? Will Foden struggle for tiers if predominantly starting at centre forward?
It's a good shout, but I think his like goals or assists would carry him through,
Yeah,
maybe even final a match.
exactly. I think if you're looking for the ceiling, Foden is obviously there. if you're looking for consistency, Rodri for me. And I
Yeah,
think he's a little bit cheaper as well.
yeah, one of those two I'd go for.
Second last question in from FPL Beery, our friend Spencer. Other than Kane and Son, do any other Spurs players make the Sky FF watch list?
Højbjerg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Glenn Roy, who I know listens to the pod, so is pretty sure I know what answer that's going to get. And 100% Højbjerg. James mentions him every single week. And then last question in from Ryan Fitzsimmons. I really wasn't impressed by Everton last night. As a Townsend owner, would you still hold until the Arsenal single game day, or maybe look to move on, perhaps to an Arsenal player? I'm really tempted by Aubameyang.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably thinking of the same thing myself, but I'm more cautious. I think I'm going to just keep Townsend for that fixture because no one at Arsenal really jumps out at me. So up to you on that one. If you can get to Aubameyang and there's a striker slot that you happy to lose for that, I'm quite happy with my strikers. So I think that's why I'm not going there. But if you got the striker to replace, then go for it.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that sums it up. Right. Well, I think that brings the pod to a close there, James, and we're delighted to announce that this month we are sponsored by Manscaped, who approached us to sponsor the podcast for the entire month. So, do you want to introduce who Manscaped are, James?
Yep, they are the best in men's below the waist grooming. They offer precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They've just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0.
Wow.
Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TSK20 at manscaped.com.
So, guys, imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. Now, you know what I'm talking about, guys. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my balls.
The upgraded trimmer includes a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a precise shave. The lawnmower even allows you to customize your trim for additional guard lengths with sizes 1 to 4.
Yeah, and that's always good, obviously, if you don't like the fully shaved look. Did I mention wireless charging, James? I don't think I did. The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery life last a lot longer. Really helps it, particularly if it's traveling. If it's time to get your own ball hair and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time, then enhance your confidence. Your balls will definitely thank you. So, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code TSK20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code TSK20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So, James, I think on that note, it's time to end the podcast. So it is a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.